What is up, YouTube? It's your girl Evelyn, and we are officially 5 days away from the Killing Eve Season 3 premiere, which is the perfect time to take a deep dive into one of the strangest, most volatile, yet oddly satisfying relationships on television today. So join me as I break down Eve and Villanelle's toxic, interdependent relationship, and as always, there will be spoilers, so proceed with caution.
But it was just my imagination.
Before we can dive into Eve and Villanelle's relationship, we must first define it by tackling an accusation that has plagued the show since season 1. Is Killing Eve queerbait? Despite the baity season 2 promos and Sandra Oh's gaslighting interview with the Gay Times, the show itself doesn't meet the criteria of queerbait, which Wiktionary defines as creating homoerotic tension between two characters without the intention of ever developing it into a same-sex relationship or explicitly addressing either character's sexuality. Killing Eve is very direct when it comes to Villanelle's sexual preference. She's queer, and she's attracted to Eve. But Eve's sexuality is less defined and more fluid. She's married to Nico, but becomes sexually aroused at the mere thought of Villanelle or the sound of her, masturbating. At the very least, Eve is curious about exploring her sexuality, while Villanelle makes it crystal clear that she wants Eve, all of Eve. And although Killing Eve might feel like the gayest heterosexual show in history, it just narrowly avoids being categorized as queerbait. Without question, Eve and Villanelle are mutually obsessed with one another, and both consistently put their lives and careers in jeopardy to further feed their obsession. But is that all it is? An obsession? Or is there something deeper at play? When asked about the interplay between obsession and sex in Killing Eve, the show's season 2 showrunner Emerald Fennell went so far as to say all obsession is sexual, but shied away from using the L word. Villanelle herself is convinced she's in love with Eve.
You love me.
No.
I love you.
No.
I do.
But she's a psychopath, and according to the show's psychiatric consultant, that makes her incapable of feeling love. A psychopath understands love as a finely tuned jealousy. It's all about what they can take from you. After Villanelle tells Eve that she belongs to her, Eve is finally able to break out of their shared delusion and recognize that Villanelle doesn't love her, or anyone else for that matter. Villanelle might be incapable of truly loving Eve, but it's clear Eve elicits strong feelings from the assassin, strong enough to keep her boredom at bay and strong enough to make Villanelle contemplate a cozy life spent cooking spaghetti for Eve in a log cabin in Alaska. While Villanelle tells this beautiful lie, you can't help but wonder if deep down she knows the truth of what she is, and that her obsession with Eve is probably the closest she'll ever get to actual love. So we've determined our psychopath and secret agent are not in love, but you don't have to be in love to have sex. So that begs the question, will they or won't they?
Are you wearing it?
Killing Eve creator and first season showrunner Phoebe Waller-Bridge likes to say things like, the characters give each other life in a way that's more complex than a romantic relationship. It's sexual, it's intellectual, it's aspirational. Which sounds like maybe. There are countless fanfiction sites about our two favorite ladies, and the show continues to push the boundaries as the sexual tension between Eve and Villanelle grow all the more palpable, which leads to my final point. Do we really want to see them together? Your first instinct might be a resounding yes, but what happens when the chase is over and the prey has been caught? For every Meredith and McDreamy coupling, there's a disappointing Joey and Dawson pairing, and as much as I'd love to watch Eve and Villanelle consummate their relationship, I'd be concerned that the show's end wouldn't be far behind. Without the nail-biting tension and the fuck or fight suspense, what are we left with? A dysfunctional, toxic, and borderline abusive relationship between a psychopath and a half? I think I'll pass. In many ways, Eve and Villanelle are like two sides of the same crazy coin. We find their differences to be intriguing and their similarities infatuating, and we are just as obsessed with them as they are with each other. We want them to hook up, but not really. We're waiting for them to kill each other, but we'd be inconsolable if they ever actually did. And maybe, like Villanelle, we want them to become a modern-day Bonnie and Clyde, leaving behind a trail of bodies in their wake. So, which will it be? I guess we'll just have to wait and see. And that is it from me. Thank you guys so much for watching. Tell me, do you think Eve and Villanelle will ever get together? Drop a comment below, and while you're down there, do me a favor and smash the thumbs up button, and I'll see you next week.